Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something tonight that might shake the room a little, hurt his ego, and he will love you madly. Now, I know that don't sound like your grandma's advice. Your grandma probably told you, baby, just stroke his ego and feed him good and he'll never leave. And listen, that worked back when men were built like trucks and women didn't have time to dream. Let me tell y'all something about men that we don't like to admit. We don't fall in love with the woman who just goes along with everything we say. We fall in love with the one who challenges us, the one who makes us uncomfortable sometimes, the one who doesn't just sit there nodding while we're out here being wrong, reckless, or ridiculous. We respect a woman who makes us look at ourselves, even when we don't want to. See, men are wired a certain way. We got pride in our chest and control in our bones. We think we're supposed to lead, decide, run the show. And a lot of women, bless your heart, you've been taught that if you want to keep your man, you got to be quiet, keep the peace, never question him, always agree. But let me tell you something. That kind of woman don't keep a man, she bores him. Yeah, I said it. Because men may say we want easy, but what we really want, what we truly respect, is a woman who don't let us slide. You ever seen a man sit up straighter because his woman just gave him that look? You know the look that you better fix that look. Oh, we act mad in the moment. We might raise our voice. We might stomp around a little, act like we're big and bad. But deep down, we thinking, dang, she right. And I better get it together because I don't want to lose her. That kind of woman earns something way deeper than lust. She earns our respect. And once a man respects you, that's when you get his loyalty. That's when you get the real version of him. Now, I'm not saying argue with a man just to prove you got power. That's not what this is. I'm talking about the woman who speaks up because she sees more in him. The woman who's not afraid to say, you could have handled that better. Or, you don't talk to me like that. Or you promised you were going to work on that. So what happened? See, those aren't attacks. Those are investments. And a man who's worth your time, he sees it that way. He may not like hearing it, but he'll grow from it. He'll learn from it, and he'll come back stronger. Ladies, when you challenge a man, you activate something in him. You wake up his potential. You wake up that fire. And yes, sometimes you might hurt his little feelings, but if those little feelings stop him from loving you, he wasn't built for you to begin with. A real man knows the difference between disrespect and direction. He knows when a woman's pushing him toward purpose, not putting him down. And when he realizes that, that's when you'll see him show up in ways he never did for anybody else. Men may chase beauty, but we keep strength. We honor honesty. And when a woman brings both to the table, we're not just in, we're all the way in. That's the woman we brag about to our boys. That's the woman we bring around our mama. That's the woman we're scared to lose because we know she made us better, even if she had to bruise our ego to do it. So if you're sitting there wondering why he respects his homeboys more than he respects you, ask yourself this: are you challenging him or just cheering him? Because a man can get cheers anywhere, but a challenge from someone who loves him, who wants him to grow, that hits different. That stays with us. That changes us. And yeah, we might act like it didn't. We might sit quiet, pretend we ain't thinking about it. But later that night, when it's just us and our thoughts, we're hearing your voice in our head. And it's not the sweet one. It's the real one, the one that called us out. And guess what? That's the voice we fall in love with. Everybody out here talking about love like it's supposed to be smooth sailing, like it's supposed to be soft, sweet, polite all the time. Nah, that ain't real love. Real love got some grit to it. Real love rubs up against you the wrong way sometimes. It don't always flatter you. Sometimes it frustrates you. But that's the love that lasts. That's the love that grows. That's the love that puts something on your soul. See, flattery is easy. Anybody can tell you what you want to hear. You're perfect. You do no wrong. I love everything about you. That's cute. That's Instagram love. That's surface level love. But that ain't got no depth. You want to test if somebody really loves you? Watch how they act when y'all disagree. Watch how they handle you when you're being selfish, when you're being short, when your flaws start showing. Do they shrink? Do they lie to keep the peace? Or do they step in with some truth, even if it means a little tension? Let me tell you, when somebody loves you for real, they ain't scared of no friction. They lean into it. They get in the fire with you. They say, I love you enough to not let you keep acting like that. That's what love does. It confronts, it corrects, it stretches you. Sometimes it even hurts your ego, but not because it wants to tear you down, because it wants to build you right. People run from relationships because they hit a rough patch and think something's wrong. Oh, we arguing, so maybe we're not meant to be. Man, let me tell you something. The couples that last ain't the ones who never fight. They the ones who fight right. They argue, but they argue with intention. They challenge each other, but they don't walk away. They disagree, but they don't disrespect. That's what separates lust from love. That's what turns a fling into a future. Flattery will get you a night. Friction will get you a lifetime. Flattery tells you what you want to hear. Friction tells you what you need to hear. And yeah, it don't always feel good. Love don't always feel good in the moment, but it grows you up. It refines you. It humbles you. And if you let it work on you, it makes you into a better version of yourself. Now, I ain't saying go out there and pick fights just to feel like you in love. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about truth. I'm talking about love that ain't scared to tell the truth. Love that says you slipping. Love that says I need more from you. Love that says I'm here, but I need you to show up too. That's real. That's mature. That's the kind of love you build a life with. Because here's the thing, if someone only praises you, only compliments you, only claps for your good days, they're not loving all of you. They're loving the version of you that makes them comfortable. But real love sees your mess, it sees your pride, it sees your patterns, and it still says, I choose you, but I won't let you stay stuck. That kind of love, that love with heat, with tension, with growing pains, it changes people. It don't just make your heart flutter, it makes your character stronger. You come out of that kind of love more patient, more honest, more aware. And when you find somebody who can go through friction with you and still hold your hand afterward, that's rare. That's sacred. That's the one you don't let go of. So stop running from the rub. Stop chasing the easy compliments and the people who just smile and nod. Find the one who looks you in the eye and says, we're going to get better together. Because that right there, that ain't just love. That's real love. The kind that endures, the kind that elevates, the kind that lasts. Let me break something down for you real plain. You want to know what a man really feels about you? You don't find that out when everything is smooth, when y'all are laughing, kissing, and smiling all day. Nah, you find that out when you check him, when you bump his ego. That's when the mask comes off. That's when the truth steps in the room. See, a lot of men walk around like they solid, like nothing bothers them. That's just our default mode. We raised to be tough, to act like we always in control. But that ain't real strength. That's armor. And that armor is built out of ego. The second a woman gets close enough to hit that ego, to challenge us, to tell us we wrong, that's when you find out if we're in love with you or just in love with the image of ourselves we think you admire. When a man really loves you, he don't fall apart when you hurt his pride a little. He don't storm off. He don't shut down. He don't come back with revenge. He listens. He slows down. He might not like it. Let's be honest. No man likes to get called out. But if his heart isn't in, if his soul is invested in you, then something in him shifts. Because it ain't about him winning the argument anymore. It's about not losing you. Ladies, listen to me. If you say something that hits his ego and all he does is turn cold, go silent, start playing games, then you got your answer. You just exposed his emotional ceiling. You found the line he won't cross for you. Because any man can smile when you praising him. But a man who can grow from you challenging him, that's a man who's committed. That's a man who's emotionally invested in the relationship, not just emotionally invested in his image. Now let me say this too. Some women get scared to check a man. You walk on eggshells because you don't want to start nothing. You don't want to be seen as difficult or nagging. But baby, if you can't speak your truth, if you can't say, hey, that ain't right, without him flipping out or threatening to leave, then he ain't invested in you, he's invested in control. And that ain't love, that's ego management. But when a man truly values you, you can challenge him without losing him. In fact, it's the opposite. The more you hold him accountable, the more he steps up. That don't mean he always responds perfectly. He might push back a little. Because, man, we slow sometimes. We defensive. But trust me, if he comes back to you with more self-awareness than before, that's a sign. That's the ego taking a knee and love standing up in its place. You want to know how deep a man's feelings run? Watch what happens after a disagreement. Watch how he treats you when you tell him the truth he didn't want to hear. Does he stay close? Does he ask questions? Does he make real changes? That's the stuff that matters. That's emotional investment. And it's rare. But when a man shows it, you know you got something real. Don't let these men out here fool you into thinking that love means silence or submission or always agreeing with them. No, real love ain't afraid of correction. Real love says, I trust you enough to hear what you're really saying, even if it don't feel good in the moment. And real love from a man, it shows up after his ego's been touched. It shows up when he chooses to come closer instead of walking away. That's when you know he's not just in it for the good days. He's in it for you. Let me tell you something that most men don't want to admit out loud. A strong woman is a mirror. And depending on the kind of man standing in front of that mirror, she either sharpens him or scares him. A strong woman don't make a man weak. No, she just reveals whether he already is. She don't break him. She shows you the cracks that were already there. That's the truth. See, a lot of fellas out here claim they want a real woman, a solid woman, a woman who's independent, confident, got standards, got purpose. Oh, we talk a big game. We love how it looks on the surface. She's fine, she's focused, she's fierce. But the minute she starts showing that strength in ways that hold us accountable, in ways that challenge our behavior, our effort, our vision, that's when you see which men are built for it and which ones just said they were. A strong woman don't play games. She don't chase you, she don't beg, and she don't lower herself to keep a man around. She speaks truth, she moves with class, she sets boundaries. And here's what happens. A real man steps up. He might stumble, he might not get it right immediately, but he rises because he sees her as a partner, not a threat. But a weak man, he'll retreat. He'll call her too much. He'll say she's too independent. He'll start twisting her strength into a problem because he ain't secure enough to grow alongside it. That's why I always tell women, don't water yourself down for nobody. Don't shrink just to make a man feel big. Because the man who needs you to be small for him to feel strong, he was never strong to begin with. A real man welcomes a woman who pushes him, who says, you said you had goals, so what's the next step? Who checks him when his actions don't match his words. That don't emasculate him, that elevates him. Men, hear me. That woman who challenges you, who won't tolerate your excuses, who makes you uncomfortable because she sees something greater in you, that's not your enemy. That's your blessing. That's your future. That's the one you better not play with, because she ain't trying to control you. She's trying to build with you. And if your ego too fragile to handle that, then that says more about you than it does about her. Look, when you get a strong woman, she's going to ask questions you ain't used to answering. She's going to expect consistency. She's going to want emotional presence, not just physical attention. That's work. That takes maturity. But if you lean into that process, if you let her push you toward growth, you'll become the man you were meant to be, not just the man you've been pretending to be. I've seen it over and over again. A man meets a strong woman, and his whole world changes. He starts thinking differently, dressing differently, handling business better. Not because she nags him, not because she pressures him, but because her presence demands excellence. Her standard wakes him up. And if he really wants to keep her, he'll do the internal work. Not for her approval, but because he wants to be worthy of standing next to her. But don't get it twisted. She's not going to babysit your growth. She'll encourage it. She'll support it. But she ain't going to drag you. If you resist it, if you resent it, if you try to dim her light just so yours don't look so dim next to hers, she will walk. And she won't look back, because strong women don't settle for potential that refuses to activate. They don't fall in love with promises. They align with progress. So if you're a man who's been blessed to meet a strong woman, pay attention to how you respond to her strength. Do you rise to meet it, or do you run from it? Do you match her effort, or do you make her feel like she's too much? Because at the end of the day, she's not the test, you are. And whether you pass or fail tells the world exactly what kind of man you really are. Let me tell y'all something about men that most won't say out loud. We don't forget the woman who made us better. Not the one who just made us feel good. I'm talking about the one who bruised our ego a little, made us check ourselves, made us grow. That woman, she don't just walk in and out of our life. Nah, she leaves a mark, a permanent one. The kind that keeps us up at night sometimes thinking about what we lost or what we almost let slip away. See, men got this thing called pride. Oh, it's heavy. We protect it like it's gold. We build our identity around it. And when a woman comes along and challenges it, not out of disrespect, but out of love, out of care, out of vision, something in us shakes. Now, don't get me wrong. We might not show it in the moment. Most of us don't. We'll act like we ain't bothered. We'll act like we ain't listening. We'll go silent, act mad, puff our chest out. But trust me, we heard every word, and if it hit our ego just right, we'll be thinking about it for weeks, months, sometimes even years. That's the thing about women who ain't afraid to tell a man the truth. They stick with us. They become unforgettable, not because they praised us, but because they pressed us. Because they showed us what we were doing wrong, and not everybody has the courage to do that. Most people play it safe. They tell a man what he wants to hear, but a real woman, she tells him what he needs to hear. And that voice, that honest echo, we don't forget the woman who pulled us aside and said, "You're better than that." The one who said, "You say you love me, but I need to feel it, not just hear it." The one who called out our inconsistency, who questioned our effort, who told us straight up, "I won't let you waste my time or yours." That woman, she commands respect. Even if we were too immature to admit it, she changed something in us. Now, don't think for a second that bruising a man's ego means being cruel or disrespectful. That ain't what I'm saying. This ain't about tearing a man down. This is about waking him up. See, when it's done with love, when it's done with grace and strength, that ego check becomes a seed. It might not sprout immediately, but oh, it grows. Over time, that man starts hearing your words in his head when he's about